Hi, Parkway Manor. It's Mrs. Posegay. I am here. I'm going to read you this book. It's called Gaston, and it's a book about a little puppy named Gaston. And I really like this story, and I especially love the illustrations. I think that they're just such pretty pictures, the paintings. And when I hear the word Gaston, I think of, you know, the guy in Beauty and the Beast who's not so friendly. But this Gaston is nice. Here's the front. Here's the cover page, the title page, Gaston by Kelly DiPucchio, and the pictures are by Christian Robinson. Mrs. Poodle admired her new puppies, Fifi, Fufu, Ooh La La, and Gaston. What do you notice there about those puppies? Gaston, it looks a little different than the other ones, doesn't he? Would you like to see them again? Well, yeah, I would, I think. Fifi, Fufu, Ooh La La, and Gaston. Mrs. Poodle thought so too. They were perfectly precious, aren't they? Mrs. Poodle thought so too. The puppies grew as puppies do. 3 were no bigger than teacups. The 4th, however, continued to grow and grow until he was the size of a teapot. Can you see which one is Gaston? Mrs. Poodle took pride in teaching her puppies how to be proper pooches. They were taught to sip, never to slobber. Good. Well done. Very nice. A nice try. They were taught to yip, never yap. Yip, yip, yip. Ruff. See which one's Gaston? And they were taught to walk with grace, never to race. Tip-toe, tippy-toe. Whoa! The puppies were also taught how to look pretty in pink, nibble their kibble, and ride in style. Whatever the lesson, Gaston always worked the hardest, practiced the longest, and smiled the biggest. Mrs. Poodle was very pleased with all her puppies, Fifi, Fufu, Ooh La La, and Gaston. Spring arrived, and the proud mother was eager to show off her darlings. She took them to the park for their very first stroll in public. There was much to see. Daffodils, ducklings, dogs. Oh dear, who do we have here? Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette. Would you like to see them again? Rocky, there's Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette. What do you notice about these puppies? I'm noticing that Antoinette doesn't look like the others, does she? Well, this was more than a little awkward. The mother sized up the pups. The pups sized up one another. It seems there's been a terrible mistake, Mrs. Bulldog said, breaking the silence. There. Oui, oui, Mrs. Poodle agreed sadly. Whatever shall we do? Mrs. Bulldog could not come up with an answer. I guess we'll let them decide, she replied at last. So there you can see all the puppies. So there's Gaston with his little puppy sisters. And then there's Antoinette with her brothers. Gaston and Antoinette were young, but even they could see that there had been a mix-up. The 2 puppies began to circle around the group. Gaston walked with grace. Antoinette raced. Gaston yipped. Antoinette yapped. And when they finally came to a stop, the puppies had traded places. There, that looked right. It just didn't feel right. That evening, Antoinette tried to fit in with her new sisters, but she did not like anything proper or precious or pink. Phooey! On the other side of town, Gaston tried to fit in with his new brothers, but he did not like anything brutish or brawny or brown. Good at eating garbage. Antoinette and Gaston weren't the only ones. There's Antoinette with the poodle family. And there's Gaston with the bulldog family. He doesn't like how messy they are. They weren't the only ones who were having a hard time adjusting. The next morning, Mrs. Poodle forgot all about being proper and raced back to the park. Puppies. Mrs. Bulldog was already there waiting with her burly brood. "It seems we've made a terrible mistake," she nearly shouted. "Wee, wee," Mrs. Poodle agreed happily. This time, Gaston and Antoinette wasted no time trading places. There, that looked right, and it felt right too. From that day forward, the families met in the park every afternoon to play. Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette taught the poodle puppies a thing or two about being tough. Likewise, Fifi, Fufu, Ooh La La, and Gaston taught the bulldog puppies a thing or two about being tender. And many years later, when Gaston and Antoinette fell in love and had puppies of their own, they taught them that they could be whatever they wanted to be. The end. So I like that story. Even though Gaston and Antoinette didn't look like their brothers and sisters, that didn't matter. They still fit in. They were still part of their family. So I like the message in that story and the pictures. And of course, you know I love dogs. So I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope that you guys are all staying safe and staying well. And hopefully we'll be back at school soon.